What's up, y'all? We back at it with another video, and we're going to be talking about The Lanterns. So the show is supposed to premiere this weekend, this Sunday on HBO Max around 9 p.m. Now they actually released the first 5 minutes of episode one, which I just finished watching. And I gotta say, it's looking good so far. The first 5 minutes was very, very intriguing. I don't know if it's necessarily the first 5 minutes of the episode one or if it's just 5 minutes from somewhere in between episode one. I want to say it's the beginning, but we get to see a young John Stewart and his brothers. This takes place in 1998, and they're actually watching TV. They're watching Hal Jordan being interviewed as as the Green Lantern. He's telling the world who he is. He saved the world. Well, he saved an area from being hit by a meteor. I can't remember exactly where, but he saved this area from being hit by a meteor. John Stewart and his brothers are watching it on TV. You have it where one of the brothers say, "Hey man, we need to cut this off. Dad's almost home." Now, when it comes to John Stewart, I don't know too much about his family history outside of he was in the military, and that led to him becoming a Green Lantern. So in this episode, it looks like we're going to see a little bit about his past, and we might even get flashbacks throughout the series. I'm not the biggest fan when shows do that back and forth stuff, but if it's presented the right way, I'll give it. I'll give it a try. But you have it where you could see that John Stewart is really focused on what he's seeing on the television. It's almost as if he looks up to Hal Jr. as someone he wants to be in the future. And you have it where Hal Jordan tells the person who's interviewing him, like, yo, he's just a normal person like every one of us. You know what I'm saying? He's normal. He's just a regular person, except he was chosen to be a Green Lantern. And I imagine that right there probably not only just inspired John Stewart, but inspired kids all over the world because you just seen a regular guy become a superhero, and that's something that most kids aspire to be like. So I thought that moment was pretty good. You got him smiling, and you have it where they show a little bit of how Junior's how I don't know why I keep calling him Junior. How Jordan's past. You have a moment where they're saying like his father passed away, which I do remember that from the comics, as well as the movie that that came out. I think that was like the late '90s, early 2000s as well. That was considered to be one of the worst hero movies of all time. But I actually liked that movie. You know what I'm saying? Where it had old boy who played Deadpool, Ryan Reynolds. He played Hal Jordan. I actually like that movie. I might be one of the rare few people who do. It wasn't perfect, but I actually enjoyed it. But you have it where they talk about how Hal Jordan's father died in an airplane crash. You know what I'm saying? He had to witness that. And as that's going on, as they're watching this little, I guess, interview of Hal Jordan, you have it where the father of John Stewart actually arrives. You have it where the kids say, yo, cut it off. They cut it off. The father walks in the house, and the father seems a bit extreme. He looks like a military man. He's wearing an army uniform, and you have it where the father asks him like, "Yo, well, what's his name?" Of course, he says it's Hal something. He doesn't know. He doesn't quite remember the last name, and I wonder how the father knew that's what his son was watching. Is it that just that John Stewart been talking about the Green Lantern so much that that's all the father hears, or is it something more to it that may be revealed later on throughout the series? I'm not 100% sure, but you have it where the father tells John like, "Yo, come outside," and you have this insane moment. If you look behind the kid right here, you can see on the screen there's bullet holes in the wall behind the kid, and then you have it where he places the apple on his head, and his father says to him like, "Yo, are you scared?" He says no, and you have this insane moment where the father actually fires the gun at his son. This was insane. This is crazy. I didn't know this was the backstory for John Stewart. Now, if this actually happened in the comics, let me know because this is insane as hell. A bit too strict, if you ask me. But you have this scene right here where he looks at him. John has no fear. Now, I imagine that could aid in a battle against Celestial because he battles with the power of fear, but this shit is just crazy to think he did this to a little kid. I don't know how old he is right here. He got to be maybe, I don't know. I'm looking at him. maybe 9, 10 years old, and you have it where he pulls the trigger, shoots the apple, and John doesn't even flinch. Next thing you know, the father pats him on the head and says, like, yo, let's go get a burger. Next thing you know, it jumps from 1998 to, I think it said 2016, if I'm not mistaken. Or it says 16 years later. I think it says 16 years later, if I'm not mistaken. 16 years later, you have it where Stewart is, training, practicing boxing. He walks outside, and he's standing on the corner. Yeah. Oh, it is 2016. I'm bugging. So yeah, 18 years later, he's standing outside, and you have it where he's waiting on someone, and you see that it's actually, what I'm saying, Hal Jordan rolling up, picking him up in the car, saying, I'm a bit late. I don't know if maybe Jon Stewart has something, has an issue with his time being wasted. It seems like that might be the case because of what we see in this little, clip right here. And you have it where he drive off. So I know we're supposed to see them in both. Well, I don't know if both of them, but I know we're supposed to see the Green Lantern and Man Up tomorrow, which will be the next project with Superman. So I'm guessing this series takes place before, takes place before the Superman movie, or if I'm mistaken. I could be wrong, but it just feels like it takes place before the Superman movie. But you have it, or at least this episode. It might be where this episode takes place in 2016 or that moment, and then the remaining episodes might jump to the future, like 2026. But all in all, this was a nice clip. It has me intrigued to see what actually happens with the next episode. Well, with the very first episode of Lanterns, it's not looking like it's going to be a bad show if you ask me. But I'm curious to hear y'all thoughts on this one. And if you like the video, thumb it up. Please subscribe, hit the bell, and I'll catch you guys on the next one, man. Peace.